Hello and welcome to the channel. I'm Annie, this is Stanley, and we're here to talk about books. And this video series is my take on the very popular Unhaul project. And in my version, I use a spinner wheel loaded with all of the least appealing books on my TBR. And once a month, I pick 3 of them randomly and give them 50 pages to hook me in, at which point I decide whether to read them or yeet them. So that's basically it. Welcome to Read It or Yeet It. So, Stanley, let's see what you've got for me this time. Not that I'm blaming you if it's terrible, of course. I don't think that'll be terrible, but we'll see. So, The Essex Serpent by Sarah Perry, I believe, is one I picked up from the local station free book exchange because I have heard people talking about it. I think I've heard people talking about it on reading retreats. I think it's a book that my friend Cressy is a fan of, and she's the one who runs the reading retreats. But I've had a bit of a rocky road with her recommendations in recent years, so it was never one that was really on my radar. But then I saw it on the free book exchange bookcase and thought, why not? I actually don't know that much about it. Let's see. London, 1893. Cora Seaborn's husband dies. She steps into her new life as a widow with as much relief as sadness, retreats to the countryside, encounters rumours of the Essex Serpent, a creature of folklore said to have returned to roam the marshes. Yeah, it doesn't sound unappealing, but I guess we'll find out. It's a lovely cover. Really, really beautiful book. So yeah, I guess we'll see how it goes. 50 pages, and I will come back and let you know my decision. So, The Essex Serpent by Sarah Perry. I've got 70 pages in, and yeah, quite enjoying it so far. It's very different to the kinds of books that I've been reading recently. It's obviously historical fiction, but it was written in the mid-2010s, I think. 2016, I think, is when it came out. The writing's beautiful, I have to say. But it's quite slow going, but not in a bad way. It's definitely taking its time. After 70 pages, not a huge amount has happened. Our protagonist, Cora, is recently widowed, and her husband was abusive, and she is moving out of London to Essex to have a break and figure out what she wants to do next with her life, with her 11-year-old son and the son's nanny, who is also a close friend of hers. And there are rumours around that some kind of river serpent is stalking the waterways and attacking people. And that's pretty much all we've got. We've just, when I stopped, been introduced to a different character, William Ransom, I think his name is, and he is a clergyman in the area, and one of Cora's friends has recommended that she go and visit the area where he lives because she's interested in fossils, and there are fossils around that area. And I think, based on what's on the back of the book, which it annoys me when that gives away too much information, the central relationship is going to be between Cora and this clergyman guy, but I've only just met him. Anyway, so the point is that after 70 pages, there's not a huge amount going on, but it, as I say, beautiful, beautiful writing. It's just quite dense. It's going to take me a long time to get through this book, but that's fine. That's not a problem for me. I don't mind taking my time with a book, and I think this one is going to reward that close attention and not trying to rush through. It's definitely not a rush through to find out what happens book. It's definitely a sink in and enjoy the prose and get as much out of it as you can kind of a book. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm not wildly engaged. It's not massively compelling, but I'm interested enough and I'm enjoying the writing enough that I want to carry on. All of the characters are very layered, which is always a big plus for me. None of them are fantastically likable, but that's not a deal breaker for me either. I'm interested in Cora, and I am interested to see where it's going to go. My favourite perspective is actually Martha, the nanny, because there's a definite soupçon of subtext between her and Cora, and she's very, very possessive of Cora, more so than she is of the little boy she's meant to be looking after. And I am fascinated to see where that's going to go and if that is actually going to be developed, because I'm really enjoying Martha's point of view, because she's kind of bristling around anybody who's taking her time away, Cora's time away from her. So I think that's the bit where I'm most interested at the moment. Anyway, there you go, bit of a rambly, waffly, leisurely update for a leisurely book. Not yeeting it yet, Stanley, but I'm a little bit on the fence, so we'll have to see how it goes. This was a great book. This was a really great book. Read it or yeet it strikes again. I saw it in the local station on the Book Exchange bookcase. I thought, oh, I've heard of that, but doesn't really interest me. Stuck it on the shelf. Probably never would have got around to reading it. Read it or yeet it, spin a wheel, has done me a solid. It did take me a while to get into it, to be fair, but I think that's a me problem and not the book problem, because I read a lot. Anybody who has been following this channel for a while, we're coming up on a year, will know that I read a lot, and I read quite fast. I get through a lot of books fairly quickly, and my husband Dave does say, if you read so fast, are you ever going to remember them afterwards? And, you know, at the time, I don't tend to worry about it. I'm not trying to read really fast, but this book did point out to me that sometimes it's a good idea to slow down and really savour a book. And this book required that, because the writing is quite dense. It's very poetic. It's a little bit overwritten, but not in a bad way. It's set in 1893, and I think it's trying to kind of sort of feel like a 19th century novel, but it really does reward proper, slow attention, and I'm glad I gave it that. Overall, the story went in some interesting places. I wasn't expecting what happened by the end, which was good. It's quite leisurely. It's not, despite the fact that it talks about potential sea monsters snatching people from out of the Essex waterways, it's not a thrillery type story. It's much more about in-depth explorations and portrayals of very complicated relationships and what is going on inside people's heads more than what is going on outside in the world. But yeah, it took me by surprise. The writing overall is really beautiful, but every now and then, or even quite frequently actually, there are phrases or images that really hit, really cut deep. Very, very beautifully written. Yeah, absolutely loved it. It's about, Dave asked me what it was about, and I found it difficult. I just waffled on. It's about love. It's about belonging, it's about family, it's about superstition, it's about faith, it's about science, it's about reason, it's about possibly there being a monster in the water and how people respond to that and to each other in and around in relation to that. I'm not giving it 5 stars. I'm giving it a solid 4.5. Don't get me wrong, this was great, and I am sticking this on the shelf, keeping this book. The ending was maybe a little bit nebulous, and it possibly didn't engage my emotions as much as I would want for a 5-star read. But this is really fantastic. If you like historical fiction, if you like complex characters and really in-depth explorations of what goes on in people's heads to do with how they feel about themselves and each other, and you like really effective imagery and really beautiful writing, I would say this is the book for you. So definitely not yeeting this one, Stanley. It's going on the shelf. I'm just popping in to say that in a turn of events that I could never have predicted, I am nearly at 100 subscribers. Woo! It's completely wild to me, and thank you so much if you are one of those subscribers. And you never know, I may have hit 100 subscribers by the time you see this clip, which would be amazing. But regardless, once I do hit 100 subscribers, I'm going to do an Ask Stanley Anything video, because I mean, you can ask me stuff too if you want, but I'm assuming that people are going to want to ask Stanley rather than me because he's amazing. But yes, if you would like to ask Stanley a question, or me, drop it in the comments. And once I hit 100 subscribers, I will answer Stanley, will answer all questions. And what does the spinner wheel have to say this time? Spin, 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 spin. Oh, God. No. Why is that even in the list? Yikes. The Last Kingdom by Bernard Cornwell. The spinner wheel's really going for the ebooks that are randomly on mine and Dave's joint account that we don't know where they came from. I don't know how I feel about that. I suppose it depends on whether they end up being any good or not. But yeah, The Last Kingdom by Bernard Cornwell was never going to be something that I would pick to read for myself. I think I maybe watched at least part of the TV series that was on a few years ago. It's historical, probably lots of fighting. I seem to remember there were family dynamics in terms of succession. So none of these things are things that normally appeal to me in books necessarily, but you know, he's a well-known author. If I do really like it, I think there's billions of other books in his back catalogue that I can give a try. So I guess we'll see how it goes, Stanley, and what kind of reaction I have once I try and start reading it. So I read the whole of the prologue and part of the first chapter of The Last Kingdom, and probably as expected, it's not for me. It's not. I would say being very pernickety about it, the labelling of the first section as a prologue and the second section as chapter 1 was a bit confusing, because I would normally expect a prologue to be set sometime before the main story. That's normally what prologues do. But chapter 1 of this book follows on so directly after what happens at the end of the prologue that it's the same day. So that was a bit confusing. I thought there'd be a time jump, but there wasn't. But that's by the by. That's very minor. What I actually had a problem with was the writing was very action focused, very much this happened and then this happened and then this happened and then this happened, which isn't my kind of writing really. And also action focused in terms of there being a very in-depth, detailed description of a battle, and then some torture, and then women being used as spoils of war, which never generally something that I want to read about. I didn't really feel connected to the protagonist. It's a first-person protagonist. I should say it's set in the 800s, I think, in Britain, and there's a battle between some Anglo-Saxons and some Danes, and the protagonist is 9 at the time, and he gets captured by the Danes. And I think the book is about him trying to re-establish dominance over land that he feels should be his. I don't care. I think Dave and I watched the first few episodes, at least, of the TV adaptation of this, and I didn't care then. I don't think it's badly written, but it didn't appeal to me. And yeah, that's fine. I don't think Bernard Cornwell needs my eyes on his books. I think he's doing fine. Yes, so we're yeeting this one, Stanley, but it's Dave's e-reader. I always feel a bit weird about yeeting Dave's e-reader, but we'll be careful, won't we? Go that way. Oh, gentle yeet of the e-reader, because it's not the e-reader's fault that we didn't like the book. Okay, you ready? No, you have to actually let go, Stanley. I know I said be careful, but you do have to actually let go. There we go. Gentle slide down my leg for the e-reader there. That's good solution. Well done. Everybody's ready and watching to see my doom. Round it goes. Oh, interesting. Don't actually know that much about that one, but I guess we will find out. Whistledown Woman by Josephine Cox is one of my charity shop finds, or maybe the Free Station Book Exchange finds. I tend to pick up books that look and sound a bit like this just to give them a try, because that seems to be what's available in my local area from those sources. This one is on the spinner wheel, I think, because I wondered if it might be a bit dreary. Looks a bit dreary. Colour palette, the picture, it just looks a bit dreary. But it is a type of story that I have read quite a lot of in the past. It's about a young woman who discovers that things are not as she's been told, about her origins and the background of her family. There's definitely a hint of tension about possible danger to her when she's investigating, or her adoptive mother is trying to protect her. Anyway, it's of a type, but that type can go either way for me. It can be very absorbing, very involving, and it can either be boring or too dark or too over the top. So I guess we'll find out with Whistledown Woman. I'm going to be honest, I didn't get very far with this book. Normally I say that I give books 50 pages on Read It or Yeet It, but no, I wasn't reading 50 pages of this. Life's too short. It was rough. It's very overblown, melodramatic prose with an egregious number of exclamation marks in the narrative and the dialogue, to be fair, as well, but the narrative is where they are egregious. It opens with a young woman being tried for murder, so I guess interesting from that point of view, but it didn't really grab me. And yeah, the writing, oh, it was too much. And then I hope you'll forgive me on the 50 pages when I read where I stopped, which was page 7. Hardly daring to look at him, Starlina's thoughts were drawn back to when she was little more than a child and Ancelo just a man. Paramount in her memory was a night of illicit love, when passions had blossomed beneath a star-studded sky on a beautiful and sultry evening when in Ancelo's tender arms she had become a woman. No, not doing it. Come on, Stanley. We can yeet this one very enthusiastically. Let's get rid of it. Oh, very good. And as an extra bonus, I have another book by the same author, which I think I picked up from the Free Station Book Exchange at the same time. And we're going to eat that one too, because no, I don't want anything to do with it. Very good. Well done, Stanley. Yeah, Josephine Cox out of our lives. Yay. So, bit of a roller coaster, this one. Well, all the way up and then all the way down. So we had The Essex Serpent by Sarah Perry, 4.5 stars. Truly excellent book. Then we had a Yeet for the Last Kingdom by Bernard Cornwell, and a very enthusiastic Yeet for Whistledown Woman by Josephine Cox. And there we go. That is this episode of Read It or Yeet It. Thank you so much for watching. Please do like the video if you liked it, and subscribe if you want more content of Stanley chucking books off the camera. You managed not to take the tripod out today. Well done, mate. Yes, otherwise we will see you again in another video very soon. Bye for now.